Greetings to you all. Boss here. About 10 minutes to 12 in the afternoon. Sun is out. Temperature is high. And blessed to be here. Blessed to be here. Blessed to be seen and thankful for all who see me. Another day. Our prayers and well wishes out to all families and people across the country, across the world, any and everybody who is affected negatively by the ongoing injustices of this world, and everybody who's just trying to cope, everybody who's just trying to make the most of the opportunities that they have here in this country. And real quick, let me talk to you real quick. I'm going to try to break this down as simple as possible. When you don't address the past, and then the past that you're trying to overlook and make light of reoccurs in the future or the present, you almost seem as though you show a certain amount of ignorance. You almost display a lack of knowledge and intelligence. Because you knew and you know that some of these occurrences derive from a time where these unjust, brutal, and unequal practices were happening. So for you not to instill at least the knowledge that these are things that happened in the past, and despite these injustices and despite these oppressive ways, certain people still strived in spite of, not because of, in spite of these hateful acts against these certain people. Now, if you instill that in your young people, because I was re-listening to the Revolt panel that had the people that were coming from different parts of government and hip hop, and the one where Candace Owens was on there, T.I., Clifton Harrison, Big Killer Mike, and it was a panel about 6 people. Regardless of that was back in 2019, September, whatever. But what they were trying to get across, certain people were trying to get across, were that we're trying to instill in our kids that the future is now. We're not going to be held back by what happened before. We're not going to harp on the times that were. We're not going to dwell on who died for me and whatever. All we were afforded the opportunity to strive, and we have to take up the fight and go forward. Now, if you get that, which I get that to a degree, if you get that, what do you and your now ignorant child think when you see acts like what happened with George Floyd? Do you both look at each other like, what is that? What part of the game is that? You have to go back and use your VCR, rewind and say, oh yeah, that shit'll happen sometime, because everybody's not over that oppressive mindset. Everybody's not over that black is submissive to white and white is superior. Everybody don't get that. And if you didn't teach that to the child, then they're in shock and awe to see just an out and out act of racial profiling, of police brutality, because you're trying to get them off of thinking about that. You're trying to let them know, oh, it's everything good. Everything cool. Just be good. Do what you're supposed to do in school. Get good grades. Pay attention. Be mindful. Be courteous. And everybody's equal and everything will be all right. If you try to tell that child what to do without what we've done and what has been done to us, then they're oblivious to the fact to see a lynching, a modern day lynching. Emmett Till and the thoughts of him would give them nightmares at night, because they don't know that this has been something that caused some of the economic issues and some of the household social ills now to this day. From back then, yes, you can't overlook that just to try to keep, just to try to get the ball moving and live past our nightmares. You can't just erase that and say, okay, well now, okay, from here on, everything's good. We're just gonna be good, without having at least the idea that you still keep your head on a swivel. You still watch your six. You still be mindful of people who want to befriend you and why. And you still have to know that we came from a time when we were so loving and trusting, and on our shit, we didn't pay attention to when shit was being done to us, and we lost a continent because of it, son. Oh yeah, the conversation is going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be difficult, but one thing that I did hear somebody say is that if it's instilled in all children from ages 0 on up, from grade 0 and up, then you have knowledge. You just don't get to see it as horrendous as we used to see it. Or at least so we thought, because otherwise you wouldn't have seen an Eric Gardner. You'd have never seen somebody choked out until they died on the streets of any city, any metropolitan, any modern day culture, any modern day civilization. Who does that? Who does that? And who has that done to them? I don't know if I'm breaking it down. I'm telling you, because when stuff like, when you talk to a random white person, let's just say, a random white person, I mean, just in general, like, what do you think about since they're polarizing George Floyd, so what do you think about when you are faced with the discussion of the George Floyd murder? Racism. They are thinking racism. That's why bases are saying take down Confederate flags, because we had a hint, yeah, that is kind of racist. Now it's like, yeah, it's definitely racist. Get rid of that shit. Yeah, the chokehold is kind of a bad thing. Nope. We always knew it was somewhat of an abusive tactic. Now, definitely. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That shit is out. No chokehold, no none of that. Not even in WWE. Confederate flag, generally, episodes of Dukes of Hazzard, nope, all that shit out. Because we knew it all had hints and stints of a time where racism and slavery was okay, or at least was legal to do, and it was fine with the majority. So racism is the first thing you say when you say that to your child, your white child, your Caucasian child, your Anglo-Saxon kid. That's what you would say to them. You have double that when you talk about explaining that to a black kid or black person. What do you think about when you hear about the George Floyd murder? To your kid, you're going to say civil injustice, police brutality, driving while black, bird watching while black, safety when you go out, leave the police alone and make sure you don't talk to nobody, racism, civil rights. It's a list of things you have to say when you're explaining it to somebody who's actually a part of that demographic, not just something you saw on TV that was bad or scary or horrific. It is going to be a matter of black versus white in how we go forward, but we have to know enough about where we come from before we can do that, and you have to be mindful of that. I would say patience, but I don't give a shit if you wait or not. I am going to read the entire contract before I sign it, whereas you may feel comfortable just signing off on, okay, black and white equality, sure. No, because I'm not going to be tricked, and I'm not going to fall for it. I'm not going to take a ticket on the free bus ride like I got tricked on that last boat ride. I'm not going to do that. Not anymore. And my kids won't do that shit either. You read anything that you put your finger, your John Hancock on. You don't just sign anything. You don't just go along with anything. If it sounds too good to be true, just read the fine print. Make sure you look and then look again, because we have been tricked once, and it cost us our royalties. It cost us a continent. It cost us our kingship. It cost us our destiny. It cost us our religion. It cost us our voice. It cost us our language. Nothing passes across my desk without me looking at it and then looking at it again. If you want me to play, fine, but I got to cut the deck, because I can't trust who I'm playing this game with anymore. Neither can we. You have to understand that, but if you don't, fine. Just know that there's something different about me. Well, I came up different than you, and that's it. I do want it to be where we can go and move forward and not have to think about it, but I gotta know about it. I ain't got to think about how hard it was, but I gotta know how hard it was to appreciate how good it's gonna get. Because it's gonna get greater later.